Hi, Jamie here with Handmade Kids Art. Today I'm talking all about digital cameras and how you can use it as a tool with your young child. Now, before I dive into some of the different examples of cameras you can use with young children and some of the tips and strategies I have, I want to share with you the number one thing that I find a lot of people don't talk about when talking about young children and before you give them a camera. There's actually a step to do before you put the camera in their hands. And so what I think is really important is encouraging your child to be an observer of the environment around them. That means taking your child out, noticing the flowers blooming outside, or the cracks in the sidewalk, or the shadows that the tree makes on the ground. All of those things you can model to your child and show them that simply stopping and observing our environment around us is how we can find those visually interesting things. And so I believe that before you even give your child the camera, that modeling and just setting the example for your child of stopping and noticing what is visually interesting around us. I know as adults, we're very busy and we get all caught up in what we're doing next and multitasking and doing a million things at once. And that's where, with a young child, it's sometimes so refreshing to see that they will notice things that maybe you just looked right past. So really encourage your child to find those things that they consider visually interesting. So that is my first tip, is once again, take them outside and observe the environment around you. Once you have that, now you're ready for a tool. And that's what the digital camera is for children. It's just a tool to record what they find interesting. Now, there are many different types of cameras out there on the market. And if you Google like kids digital camera, something like this may come up. And by the way, quick side note, I have not been paid by any company for any of these products. Just wanted to say that. This camera, while it does take pictures, the quality is just okay, but this type of camera works well for a really young child, like toddler age. My 1-year-old, almost 2-year-old, she can take her own pictures, she can spike this to the ground, it will keep working. So for those children that are still, throwing around toys, this might be the best one for them. Now, the one thing to note with this type of camera, the batteries run out really quickly. So just keep that in mind. Now, starting at around age 3, I like to go ahead and introduce then the point and shoot camera. Now, there are many models of these. This one is a Canon PowerShot, but this one is over 10 years old. Like really, really old for a digital camera. However, it still works. My children, I showed them how to turn it on and off, but I let them explore what happens when they change the button, which then changes the settings. They don't have to necessarily know the terms like aperture or shutter speed, and you don't have to know that either. But simply knowing that changing the button changes what happens in the camera, let your child experiment and explore. And even how to zoom in and out, you don't have to show your child, just let them go ahead and experiment. Now, I will say, the number one thing you need to have with the camera though, no matter what camera you have, is a wrist strap. And this is often overlooked and left in the package, but most cameras do come with a wrist strap. And you want to make sure you teach your child to put it around their wrist. This way, when they're out and about and all of a sudden they see something and they drop the camera does not drop to the ground. The wrist strap has saved many cameras, and this is from even when I was working in the elementary schools. I always made my students wear the wrist band. It did really help the cameras. Now, after the point and shoot camera, if you have a child that's very interested in learning more in photography, then your next step would be going to a DSLR. And this is where you get big and fancy. And this isn't even the big and fancy DSLR. This is like your basic model. But you can change the lens and you can start to experiment in manual mode. Now, we don't have to go into all that today. That's a whole nother video. But that's just kind of the progression of how you can encourage your child with digital photography and using different types of cameras. But I just want to go back because we've had some people join in, and I just want to just review that the most important thing you can do is encourage your child to be an observer and to notice what is visually interesting to them. Look for those things in everyday life that are beautiful. And that is how you can help your child increase their creativity and then document with the camera what they find appealing. Okay, well, I'm going to keep it short and sweet and end it here. If you have comments, you can put them below, or if you have questions, and I will try to answer all the comments listed. And if you're looking for additional digital photography activities you can do with your child, I've set up a page on handmadekidsart.com/live. That's LIVE. We'll go there, and I have listed some links to some additional digital photography projects, especially for young kids. So definitely hop on over there and check it out. Thanks for watching.